Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new PSGL highlights video here at one of my favourite circuits on the F1 calendar, Japan Suzuka. The track that if you get it wrong, it will bite you, it will punish you. Sector 1 is all about commitment while running as close to those grass sections as possible. This is round 9 of the championship. Going into this race, we were actually third in the Drivers' Championship. I think 1 or 2 points off, leading the Constructors' Championship versus Ferrari. So we're going into this race with full attack and full momentum to try and close the lead for the Drivers' Championship and try and get the championship lead in the Constructors' Championship as well. We're here, ironically, as I'm saying that, Bari is going top of Q1 with a 998. Absolute flying. I'm not going to give too many spoilers towards the end of this video, but the Ferraris, as always, exceptionally fast. Huge respect to them as well as we're coming through Spoon Curve. Just trying to hook the car up into 6th, into 7th gear, flying down the back straight. Really, you want to try and do one lap in Q1 and save the tyres for a last gasp effort in Q3. In saying that, though, went purple in the middle sector, coming up into the final chicane. It's been a very good lap so far, jumping over the curbs, hard on the power on the exit, running up to the line. Thomas does a 9.54, we done a 9.94, putting P2, and that was enough for us to go through to Q2 with only one set of tyres in Q1. Speaking of Q2, we're here on our final lap. Our first lap put us P4, and now coming towards the end of our second lap here in Q2. 1.3 temps up on the Delta. Once again, purple in the middle sector, coming through chicane. Otis Lawrence does a 7.55. You see we get a little bit of wheel spin coming up the final chicane, and running up to the line, we do a 6.79, and that did put us fastest of all in Q2. First run of Q3 coming up the chicane, brand new tyres, 5 minutes 50 left on the board. Running out the final chicane, running up to the line, Bari did go temporary fastest and does keep the fastest lap as we go to a 25.666, but now we are building up the final lap in Q3, the oh so important lap that will determine your grid position come the start of the race. It's all going to be about grid position here in Suzuka and track position, so critical that we nail it. Getting the final bits of tyre temperature into the tyres, into the carcass, into the surface, out of the final corner, building up the lap, opening the DRS as fast as possible across the start-finish line, and now we're here on our final lap in Suzuka Q3 turn 1. Full commitment is necessary, down the gears into 5th gear, hit the late apex as possible, hard back on the power, throw it left, keep the middle of the track, throw it right, keep the middle of the track, use a bit of the curb on the left hand side, hug the apex as much as possible, hard back on the power, flat out through the left hander, and now bring the car over the left hand side, ready for Degner 1, Degner 2, and through the first sector split, flat out, down gear though, into 4th as well. As the track falls away from you, can pick up a bit of understeer, coming into the hairpin corner, critical to get rotation, use a bit of the camber of the road, throw it in, and that was sweet, gaining half a temp alone on the Delta for that one turn. Coming up to the infamous Spoon Curve. We're going to go down 1 gear on the entry, use up all the road, try and keep a constant steering radius throughout the 2 apexes, and we did that beautifully. We're 10.5 up now on the Delta, coming up into the second sector split, and you can see we go green this time. It's not purple, so we're going to need to nail this final few corners here of the lap coming up into the chicane. Throw it in, beautiful apex again, hard back on the power, the rear does not struggle, it grips, it gives purchase, it gives confidence, running up to line, and we do a 4.52, and I'm going to leave you with my live reaction. Come on, PB man!
Nice one, GG. Oh man!
PB man! Let's go! Let's go, man! As you can see, I was very happy with this lap, exceptionally happy. We're on pole position here for the Japanese Grand Prix. And we are going to be starting on the soft compound tires, getting straight into the action. And you can see now we're on the grid here. Nicholas Longay is on the soft compound tires. Thomas on the medium. Bari is on the soft as well. But we've got 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go here. Instantly going over to the right just to make sure to cover Nicholas. But we get a good enough start that we don't even need to use that much battery. Running down into turn 1, holding the middle line and securing the race lead here in Suzuka. I knew it was going to be a very difficult stint towards the end on the soft compound tyres. So instantly I start going into tyre preservation mode. As soon as we saw that we had the race lead locked down and secured, we went straight to saving the tyres and managing the tyres as well, because that will pay me off much dividends towards the end of the lap. But I have to say, this was my first pole position in years against top level competition drivers. It might not be F1 Esports, but pre-season F1 Esports is as good as you get on the F1 game. So I feel massively privileged. I feel really happy as well to be able to take pole position and to be leading the grid away for the first lap here at Suzuka. It's something that I've been pushing so hard for in these recent months, to find performance and to find what I believe I could always do. I always believed in myself and believed in the ability to get it done, and now finally feels so satisfying to get that pole position. I don't take it for granted. I'm going to keep on pushing to be hopefully even better going forward and to not leave any stone unturned. So now here on lap 5, cutting on to lap 6, you see Thomas Ronhaar has been able to get past Nicholas Longay, and we are letting past Thomas Ronhaar on the straight. I felt very confident in the ability to re-overtake in the latter parts of the stint and hold the DRS and slipstream advantage while doing that. Something that's really critical for us is, again, like I talked about earlier, to managing tyres. And you can see Nicholas Longay is now trying to attack us, and we have to go down the inside of Thomas Ronhaar just to ensure that we go too wide and allow Nicholas no opportunity to try and get up the inside or go around the outside of either of us, and we can hold position. Now on the pit straight, trying to go in the slipstream, re-overtaking for the race lead. You see Nicholas Longay gaining so much in the slipstream. I had to use a bit more battery and compromise the battery usage a little bit just to make sure Nicholas was not able to get a double overtake. Definitely the ideal position is to sort of be in the slipstream and saving battery. So it's definitely one of those factors that I was aware of in the first stint, but I definitely wanted to try and hold track position in these early phases to try and manage the tyre wear as much as possible, as tyre wear is oh so critical in Suzuka. You can see we've done a good job of building the battery up once again. We're back near 70% on the battery on lap 9, and we're going to be boxing on the next lap of the race going on to lap 10. You can see Nicholas is using a bit of battery down the back straight in the slipstream of us closing in. It's so hard to defend when the car behind has this long back straight to slipstream all the way back up to you and then try and DRS past you on the pit straight. You can see Bari and Jarno Opmeer are going into the pit lane, and this is so critical for our race. You can see Nicholas Longay is going to fly past us on the pit straight as well. Sublime race management by him, I have to say. He chose his moment to strike, and he did it with so much precision and did it with a lot of strategic thought behind it, and pretty much I was defenseless. The only way I could have tried to even defend is if I used all of my battery down the straight. Even then, it would have put me in a really vulnerable position.
Is this full push with battery this lap?
For later in the stint and later in the race as well. So I opted to try and save the battery and not actually fight too much with Nicholas on this in lap, because we are both going into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Something that I knew was the chance to Bari was pretty much gone to defend.
Longay probably also going to put Brendon.
Yeah, I know.
And
I'm just
yeah,
careful
so
about
I
Jarno.
always knew that the chance to defend against Bari was pretty much gone because the undercut is so powerful in this game. But I believed that there was an opportunity and a chance to defend against Jarno and try and retain at least a P3 position coming out of the pit lane. So that's why I said I was watching Jarno and trying to make sure that we were not undercutted by Jarno. So we've got another few corners to make sure that we can give ourselves the best opportunity of that possible. You can see I was weaving down the straight, and that was me telling Nico I don't want to fight. I want to work with you in this next straight, in this next corner, because if we fight, we lose. You can ask. You can see me saying if I'm going to get undercutted or not. And my engineer's saying probably by Bari as well. And yeah, because I knew if I fight Nico, I lose the position anyway. And probably he does as well. And that's not good for either of us. So although sometimes it's better not to fight and better to use the brain and better to maximize later in the race as well. Because if we fought with Nico, and as we're saying that Bari and Yano are flying past us on the straight and now we're in P4. But going back to the main point, if we were fighting Nico, Josh Idaru would have probably got past us as well. You can see only 1/10 behind. So if we compromise our ability to go through the chicane at maximum speed, lost even 2 attempts, we would have lost the position to Josh and would have been behind, and the chance of winning this race would have been even lower. So, with that being said now, it's critical to get these hard tyres up to temperature as fast as possible. Nicholas Longay is on the medium compound tyres as well, so he's on a very different strategy compared to myself, Bari, and Jarno Opmeer. And pretty much everyone who started on the soft compound tyres is on a different strategy too. So, will that work out for him? Only time will tell. But he's a very strong driver, so I'm sure he'll be able to do the maximum with those tyres possible and get the tyres its maximum capability and possibility as well. You can see teammate in the box, and that is pretty much the rest of the front runners from the first stint going into the pit lane. The outlier from that being Freddie Rasmussen, and of course we all know how fast Freddie is. You can see the top 3 are now fighting going into chicane, and I was really just trying to save the battery for what I could right now. I really just wanted to focus on getting these tyres up to temperature. I knew that the opportunity to try and attack and overtake was very low right now, so my priority was making sure I did not get any positions lost in the pit stop window. You can see going past Thomas on the straight now. So yeah, my priority was making sure that I did not lose anything on the pit stop window, and was able to retain a P4 position going into the latter stages of the stint. And now my full focus is to keeping a bit of pressure on Bari, Nicholas and Jarno, of course, but actually starting to manage the tyres and bring the battery back up to a higher capability. And that's what I was doing for a handful of laps, and now I'm starting to really apply some pressure to Bari. I know it's going to be so difficult. We all know how fast Bari is. We all know how great he is under pressure as well. So it's going to take everything to try and make a move on Bari. I knew if we wanted to win this race, obvious statement, I know, but getting past Bari was oh so critical. You can see now Bari going a little bit defensive into the hairpin, and we set up as good of an exit from the hairpin as we can, exiting only 2.5 attempts away from Bari. Going into Spoon Curve, we got oh so much battery as well. We've been saving our tyres. This is so critical. We send the car in a bit tighter on the apexes compared to the Ferrari of Bari. Good exit as well, exiting Spoon Curve, 1.7 attempts away, deploying the battery in the slipstream. He's using the slipstream with Jarno Opmeer, and we are trying to look down the inside to Spoon Curve, but we can't quite get the overlap. And now we're trying to go around the outside into the braking zone for the final chicane, and nothing can be doing there. Was trying to get Bari to defend so we could look down the outside, but he was very smart and tactical within his defense, and nothing was possible there. Lap 19, you can see I got a full battery, but I'm back in full tyre saving mode to try and give myself an opportunity later in the race. So we decide to play the team game.
So if he doesn't get the place by lap 23, I want it back.
So we decided to play the team game, and we let Thomas go past for now, so he could try and have an opportunity to try and overtake Bari. Whereas I wanted to focus later in the race and maximise my capability at the latter parts of the race to try and get the overtake done. Lap 20, you can see we're 7 tenths behind just because I'm putting all my energy into saving the battery and saving the tyres here. We've got a comfortable window behind. I believe Jake boxed earlier than us as well. Definitely Josh did, but you can see we've got 7 tenths behind us, so we've got all the ability in the world to try and save these tyres and maximise the pace later in the race. 100% with the battery as well will be critical once we get back into a fighting position later in this stint. Sometimes, like I talked about earlier, it's not about just attacking straight away. It's about trying to maximise the percent opportunity from 1 or 2 overtaking opportunities rather than having a lower percent opportunity and having more opportunities, if you understand what I mean. So we can see well, you can see quite easily, I'm definitely not pushing the car to its maximum capability through these apexes. But lap 24, I am now. You can see Freddie Rasmussen, who went for the overcut, is on the medium compound tyres now and has caught all the way back up to us. So now it's time to go. It's time to push. It's trying to extract the maximum pace out of this Alfa Romeo Sauber as much as possible. Going into the later parts of this race, lap 24 of lap 27, you can see all over the back of Thomas.
We're gonna give it one more go, Brendon, and then we're gonna switch over.
You can see Thomas was asking for one more opportunity to overtake Bari, so I allowed it. I backed off. On this straight, you can see I've given Thomas a lot of space into the braking zone. He sends it down the inside of Bari, makes contact with Bari, and now you see side by side, and we're going to get a beautiful exit from the chicane, and we're past Thomas already, trying to look past Bari. Bari defends really well against us, and now we're in the slipstream of Bari, and you see there was a little bit of contact, but that's just racing between me and Bari, trying to go around his outside. I know that's not going to work, trying to go for the switchback, and Bari covers it off really well. You see I'm having to hit the brake in the middle of the two apexes, just getting a bit of oversteer there. But yeah, Bari was under attack from Thomas. Thomas sent it in, made a bit of contact with Bari in the middle of the chicane, and I'm not too sure exactly what happened on the exit, but then Bari did a really good job of defending against me, getting the run on him onto the pit straight. So, with all that being said, we are back in P4. Second to last lap of the race, and we are going to be riding on board until the end of the race, because it's now time to push. Freddie is 3 times behind us. And realistically, we have 5 cars with a chance of winning this race, with Bari being on the mediums. Outside chance of having 6 cars, but realistically 5 cars. Anything can happen on these final laps. Longay's tyres might fall off the window. Remember, he's on the medium compound tyres. Jarno, Bari, myself, Freddie, Thomas, we're all on better compound tyres for the end of the race compared to Nicholas. Nicholas has done a fantastic job maintaining these tyres till the end of the race, but now we're starting to attack Bari, deploying the battery, going down the spoon curve, and the point of my attack here was to try and get Bari closer to Jarno, so he had a bit more dirty air through this final part of spoon curve, and that seemed to have worked because we was able to exit super close to Bari, deploying the battery in the slipstream. This is one of the final overtaking opportunities to get the podium paying position. We're going the inside, down 130. He leaves us the space, we leave him the space on the outside. Now side by side into the chicane, he leaves us the space on the exit. We go for the switchback, set up the exit. Bari is flashing on his batteries underneath 10%, and now we get a beautiful exit right in the slipstream. 1.2 temps, 1.1 temps, side by side, and now we have the overlap, we have the position, we're in a P3 here at the Japanese Grand Prix, back into the podium paying positions. Nicholas Longay, Jarno Otmir, side by side up ahead. Jarno wasn't quite able to get the overtake done, and now look at this, we're using the grip that we saved up to try and close in to the back of Jarno, 3 temps away. Now into the exit of the first sector. You can see pushing as hard as we can. We're all on that exit curve, maximizing the grip of the car. And now 2.9 temps, 2.7 temps down into the right-hander, 2.5, getting a really good exit. You can see Jarno used a bit of battery on the exit as well there. I think just to put a bit of pressure on Longay, we go for a good exit on the hairpin, compromise our entry, and now we pick up a really good exit. It is raining here in the Japanese Grand Prix on the final lap of the race, and drama is really starting to ramp up the pressure. Jarno is now 4 temps away. They both have more battery than us, looking back on hindsight when I watch back their races. So it's going to be very low opportunity to try and make anything happen, but we're going to try anyway in the slipstream of Jarno Otmir, going down to the final chicane. Jarno's flashing, Nicholas is flashing, but we're too far back to make anything happen, and Bari is too far back to make anything happen on us, and they're almost 3 wide going into the chicane. And we are coming out the final corner, and we're going to be finishing this race in 3rd place. I think we have every reason to be happy for this race. I'm really happy to be taking pole position. That was my best qualifying performance in years, and considering where we was, P4, taking P3 on this track was very difficult to overtake. I'll definitely take. I really feel good at the moment. I feel like I'm getting into a good stride, so I'm very happy overall. And yeah, we're retaining P3 in the championship and marginally closing into Bari on the Drivers' Championship lead as well. So this was a very successful race in my opinion. I'm very happy with it. And something I also want to say is thank you everyone for the support. As Ruben Brendon gets driver of the day with his little heart emoji. I didn't see that before. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for the support. And yeah, I feel really grateful, humbled, and motivated to keep on pushing further and further, more and more, to try and get better results, better qualifyings, better everything, and put ourselves into this championship hunt for PSGL and put ourselves in as good as a position to be hunting the F1 Esports World Championship later in the year. But with that being said, I've been Brendon Leigh. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next video. Grazie, was actually ciao ciao, bye bye.